Today from Franconia, New Hampshire, the North American Alpine Skiing Championships. Brought to you by the Office Products Division, IBM, International Business Machines Corporation, and by the Champion Spark Plug Company, makers of dependable Champion Spark Plugs. These are the White Mountains of New Hampshire, near the small town of Franconia, the site of the 1967 North American Alpine Skiing Championships. Here, the finest skiers in the world will be running down the mountain, including this young man whom many think is the best ever developed. He is Jean-Claude of France, the man whom the finest array of skiers in the world will be chasing this afternoon. Hello, everyone. This is Jack Whitaker. Delighted to be here in Franconia, New Hampshire on a brilliant winter afternoon as the CBS Sports Spectacular presents the 1967 North American Alpine Championships. But right now, the talk is all skiing, as our CBS cameras today bring you a television first, a skiing event live and in color. We're delighted to have with us the young, energetic, and very imaginative coach of the United States ski team, Bob Beatty, and I know you're no stranger to Cannon Mountain, Bob.
No, it's been a few years since we visited here, and this has, of course, been a great week for racing so far, and I think we're all going to see a great French ski racer, probably what many of us think to be the greatest ski racer of all times, is Jean-Claude. It's a great privilege, I think, to see the best in your sport.
Our first event will be the women's downhill, and we'll have that for you in just 1 minute.
With Susan Chaffee on the course, and here she comes into sight. Almost fell as she came over to the bump.
Course.
Susan Chaffee had an outstanding record earlier in the winter, finishing fifth in the Grindelwald downhill in Switzerland, and now trying to crack in there with a top time over here in the United States in the lead-off event of this 3-week tour featuring the world's greatest ski racers. Susie looks just a little bit stiff in this middle section. Racers should try to keep their knees and ankles particularly loose. Now here she comes into the shush area. Looks like she's fallen a little bit behind. She went a little bit wide, as you can see, down here in the wet. Recovering from a injury early in the year.
Oh, look out. Oh.
It's a tough fall for Marielle Goichel. That'll put her out of the race. Hopefully she's not injured.
Let's see this, Bob. We can run this back in slow motion and see if we can pick out the reason why Marielle did fall. She's all right, as you can see. Standings, as you see on our IBM CBS board, Isabelle Mir of France first in 1:28.74. Erika Schinicker of Austria was second. Annie Famous of France was third. Susan Chaffee, of America, finished number 10. Well, perhaps the most graphic display of speed and courage ever recorded in men's downhill racing is coming up next. And we'll return to action from Franconia after this message.
At the halfway section, here comes Werner Bleiner, young Austrian boy, to almost slip there, coming off the bump. Bleiner is known for his aggressiveness, his wild style of skiing. Oh, almost fell again. That's two. This is a wild ride for Werner Bleiner. He tries to carry his speed around that important corner that you just saw. There he comes again. That's 3 for him. Werner Bleiner is really having a ride here. And of course, the racers who get rough and carry a lot of air, Jack, will lose a little bit of time. They're faster when they stay on the ground as much as possible. Here comes Bleiner now, down the final shush, almost into the finish area, with a time of 1:33.92. Perriat's time was 1:29.91. First, Florence Stoyer is now second. And here comes Nancy Green, trying to make up for a disappointing showing in the downhill. Had a great early season in Europe. At one time won 3 races in a row and was leading Marielle Goichel in the World Cup standings by quite a bit. Later, after Nancy Green left for Canada, Marielle started skiing quite well. The Austrians have several young ski racers here this year. They're putting a lot of premium on youth to try to catch up with the amazing French. You can see this here by the sound. Tough ball by Gertrude Gobble.
Anyway.
14 in the gate. Set. Watches are clear.
In the gate now, Roddy Hebron of Canada. He was 8th at the end of the first run with a time of 45.67. Roddy Hebron of Canada. Outstanding boy. Here we see some North Americans starting to show the Europeans a little bit. Hugo down with a good run. I think Hugo gave him something to fire at. Now Hebron will need a time of 42.45 to take the lead from Jimmy Hugo. 42.45. Jimmy Hugo had a total time of 128.2. Hugo now in first place, being the only one down so far. Hebron in the second one. Here he comes. 43.78. Not enough to take the lead from Jimmy Hugo.